Oh my goodness, you guys.
In this world, cesspool of kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So girl was so impressed. Lots of chicks and a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch or punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy. You're a nice guy. He's a nice guy. But all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy. You're a nice guy. She's a nice guy. But all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. But could divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. I don't want to hear it. Read into the lyrics. Cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fits. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in the blood, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bo's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public demented. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't want to hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. Don't let the fucking pill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do the show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlexMedia. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store. Sign up at the $5 level, either place, and you get the full audio and video capture of all our podcast recording sessions mailed to you the next day. And also, if you sign up at eplex.store instead of Patreon, you get automatic discounts on anything in our swag shop over there from Fourth Wall. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong like your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the village judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong, don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job, don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder, how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks? Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops, don't hate the cops.
Hey, John, Steve Bannon had to go to jail. Here's him and Marjorie the Gathering attempting to have a press conference. There's a couple clips of this, and it's fantastic.
They voted for Republicans to do their job. And sitting around and saying, oh, we're going to wait, we're going to wait. That is not good enough. Never surrender! All over the country.
You can't hear him at all. It's amazing.
By 10,000 people.
Hopefully 10,000%.
Where's the Democrat district and where's the Democrats? Where are they? Okay, nowhere.
Look, folks, if it took me going to prison, remember, the reason I chose Danbury, I asked for Danbury for a very specific reason. Back in 19, the only other person that's ever been sent to prison for a congressional subpoena, not going to a house subpoena, for contempt, held in contempt, was rigged.
People in the background are amazing. Get him.
Back in the 1940s, during the House Un-American Activity investigation, Columbia Studio fired him, because of his political beliefs. And then he was found guilty. They sent it to the DOJ. He was sent to prison. He was sent to this prison. That's why I requested Danbury, because there's no difference in his fight and in our fight. I'm a political prisoner of Nancy Pelosi. I'm a political prisoner of Merrick Garland. I'm a political prisoner of Joe Biden.
Get him, people. Someone in chat asked if this was about the wall thing that he did with senior airman Brian Colfidge. I believe that's separate. I think this was for contempt of Congress for refusing to show up and testify. We got more cowbell, everybody. More cowbell. She's cool. Hey, don't touch her. Don't touch her. I bet whoever's house that is over there to the left loves this.
You still talking?
So there we had more cowbell. Up next, we got You Better Be Nice to Mr. Bannon. Because Eric Prince from previously of Blackwater now works for something they call Academy is going to make sure that you pay if you're not nice to Steve Bannon in prison. And by prison, I mean jail. He's only going to be there for a couple months.
And I would also say we turn my friend Steve Bannon over to the guards at the prison here. We will be here in 4 months to collect him in good health, maybe a little thinner and in better shape. But we expect that they take good care of him, or there'll be accountability for that as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A guy who runs a private mercenary firm is making sure that you treat your prisoners well. Get the fuck out of here. All right, so up next we got this is from last week's Sunday shows, I believe. This is Chuck Todd asking whether or not the Democrats are maybe putting party before country.
And if the party of identity politics passes over the first African-American female vice president to choose somebody else, there's going to be all kinds of rift.
But this is, Democrats want to lecture Republicans for putting party over country and how they've been enabling of Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell is frequently criticized for that moment where he decided to prioritize not dividing his own party and letting Trump off the hook by not voting to convict him during the impeachment. Can Democrats really sit there and say, this is not about whether you think Biden can win the election. He might be able to win the election. It's not because he's Joe Biden. It's because he's not Donald Trump. The real issue is he telling the truth about whether he can serve a full 4 years? And there's a lot of challenges in the world. We want a president who could be incapacitated. That's what the vice president's for. Where you got to say to yourself, this is hard. There's no doubt. There's risk no matter what you do here. But you got to say to yourself, what's in the best interest of the country, not the party? What's in the best interest of the country in the next 4 years?
And I think people don't know that yet.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
So that's what the vice president is for. I mean, I think Joe Biden will probably be fine being the president for 4 years. I do think he's going to be really bad at running for president. That's what I think is going on here. I think people are not really understanding the job of the president is primarily to delegate to other people, and Joe Biden seems to generally hire good people, or at least competent people. Maybe good is the wrong word. And then if something happened to him or whatever while he was the president, Kamala Harris would inherit the same exact fucking administration that Joe Biden had. She might change a few things or whatever, as would be her prerogative. But you're electing an administration, not just the guy. Don't worry, though. Judicial Watch's Tom Fitton knows what's going to happen.
Hey, everyone. I reported this week that I was hearing that President Biden was going to resign from office on Monday. I haven't seen anything to suggest that what I'm hearing is wrong.
See, he's going to resign, not just stop running, but actually just resign. Just whole ass resign. I haven't seen anything that says that it's wrong. All right. Well, I mean, whatever. Up next, we got Republican Senator Langford from Oklahoma on Fox News talking to Neil Cavuto about the failed border bill that was essentially blocked by the former president.
I know you're not trying to zing your colleagues, but it's your colleagues in your party, sir, who torpedoed this, who didn't get the facts right on what you just outlined was in that measure. They killed it. Ironically, not Democrats.
Right. It was, and it was painful to be able to watch it. It got stirred up in all the presidential politics, and several of my colleagues started looking for ways. After President Trump said, don't fix anything during the presidential election. It's the single biggest issue during the election. Don't resolve this. We'll resolve it next year. Quite a few of my colleagues backed up, looked for a reason to be able to shoot against it, and then walked away. I get that. That's a decision everybody makes in it. My issue is if we're pursuing everything, we very often end up with nothing. If we're pursuing someone coming later to fix it, later seems to never come. When we have a moment to fix things, we should fix as many things as we can then come back later and fix the rest.
That's on Donald Trump, Senator.
That again, he's got a
look at that guy. He's like, I don't know. I'm not going to say that shit.
That he's running. I'm already.
People are all terrified of this guy.
Responsibility to be able to carry on this.
People are all terrified of this guy. Whatever, though. That border bill was bad, so I'm glad it didn't pass. It was way too much, if you ask me. Up next, we have the president of the Heritage Foundation behind the people behind Project 2025 on Steve Bannon's network. And this will be the first clip we play of Steve Bannon's replacement. Also, don't know his name, don't care.
Well, Professor, my great friend, thanks for filling in and doing a great job. Three things. Number one, in spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. No one in the audience should be despairing. No one should be discouraged. We ought to be really encouraged by what happened yesterday. And in spite of all of the injustice, which of course friends and audience of this show, of our friend Steve know, we are going to prevail. Number two, to the point of the clips and of course your preview of the fact that I am an early American historian and love the Constitution. That's
oh, get the fuck out of here. You are not an early American historian.
And it's vital for a lot of reasons, but I would go to Federalist number 70 if people in the audience are looking for something to read over Independence Day weekend, in addition to rereading the Declaration of Independence. Read Hamilton's number 70.
Just get drunk and watch a football game like everybody else.
Because there, along with some other essays, he talks about the importance of a vigorous executive. You know, former congressman, the importance of Congress doing its job, but we also know the importance of the executive being able to do his job. And can you imagine, Dave,
their job?
Any president, put politics off to the side, any president having to second guess, triple guess every decision they're making in their official capacity?
They should be doing that. That would be like one of the most important part of the jobs, actually, would be to consider, reconsider, and then reconsider any important decisions they're going to make with advice from staff and possibly other relevant experts. That's their job.
You couldn't have the republic that you just described. But number three, let me speak about the radical left. You and I have both been parts of faculties and faculty senates and understand that the left has taken over our institutions. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
Oh, that's quite something to say. We're going to take over and it will be bloodless so long as you don't oppose us in any sort of meaningful way. And then who knows? Maybe, who knows? It's up to you. It's up to you, actually. It's a version of, remember Why Are You Hitting Yourself when you were a kid? That's what he's doing. He's like doing a preview of Why Are You Hitting Yourself? Up next, we got JD Vance, and we're going to talk about breaking and entering and when it's okay and when it's not.
But you can't police people for being anti-Israel or pro-Israel. You can police people for violating the law, and we have seen some of that with some of these protests.
Okay, so you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just checking because you did help raise money for people who did so on January 6th, which was, impeding an official proceeding, breaking into a building that they weren't allowed to be in.
They also stole a door.
And vandalizing the Capitol.
Well, Caitlin, I know that this is the obsession of the national media to talk about what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
You're obsessed. Yes, it was a fairly major event. Yes, we watched it live here. I got up before noon to watch it, for fuck's sake.
The 6th.
It's not an obsession. I'm just seeing if it's a double standard.
Let me answer the question, Caitlin. I mean, look, here's been my basic argument about January the 6th. If you beat up a cop, of course you deserve to go to prison. If you violated the law, you should suffer the consequences. But there are people who protested on January the 6th who have had the complete weight of the Justice Department thrown at them when, at worst, they're accused of misdemeanors. Now, again, there are people who are accused of worse offenses, and that's a problem. But you can't have Black Lives Matter protesters who rioted and vandalized goes free when you have people who were actually peacefully protesting on January the 6th.
So actually, it's funny, during the uprising of 2020, a lot of the people were let go because there wasn't any fucking thing to charge them with, right? They were arrested essentially for not leaving when the cops told them to leave. And the district attorney and sometimes the judge was just like, nah, we're not wasting the time of the justice system with this, which was the right call. Because if you got arrested because you just wouldn't leave because you were busy protesting, well, I don't know what to tell you. It's a very different thing from walking into the Capitol building as part of what appeared to be an insurrection. Even if you were just there for the gram, you knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You might have been caught up in the moment, but you knew what the fuck you were doing.
have the book thrown at them. That's the double standard that I'm most worried about.
Yeah, I don't think there's an obsession with January 6th, but it is a legitimate question. And given what you just said there, and as Trump is getting closer to, as he's a presumptive Republican nominee, he has said he would pardon, he's considered a blanket pardon for everyone on January 6th. Are you saying that shouldn't happen? People who beat up cops should be excluded from that?
Well, I think what President Trump has said, and of course he can speak for himself, but I pay pretty close attention to what he says. And I think what the president has said is that people who have this double standard applied to them should
That's not what he said. Right? Like you're not paying close attention to what he said. He just said he's going to pardon all of them. Will he do that? No, he's not going to do that. That's work. Get the fuck out of here. That guy's not going to do that kind of work. I fucking go through and learn the names of all these fucking common people. That motherfucker's not going to do that. But it's like really interesting that like he's like, oh, if you, and also like, I don't know, like now the standard is you have to beat up cops for it to be. It's very weird. It's very weird. I understand that circumstances are different, and that like if like some older lady followed a bunch of people into the Capitol and was just there for the gram, didn't really do anything but stand around and take some pictures. Yeah, probably just let her go, right? But there's like a lot of different types of behavior that we observed live on stream that ranged from, just there for the gram taking pictures. And I assume most of those people didn't get arrested. We had people spreading shit on the walls. We watched someone take an internal door from inside of the fucking building. Like somebody stole like a laptop. Like they probably didn't get shit from that laptop, probably encrypted, but like they were, these are all very different things and very, very different way we could, apply these things and think about them. Up next, we got Ryan Waters, the Oklahoma State school superintendent. I guess only Trump can stop the CCP from brainwashing all the students.
The reality is you see the Chinese Communist Party, they're buying up land in America. They are weaponizing.
Well, it's not the Chinese government. It's companies or individuals who they have connections to the CCP if they're powerful, but it's not the CCP buying up the land.
Anything in America they can, and they are absolutely targeting our schools and our education centers. We saw this with the Confucius Institutes, which, by the way, remember, President Trump clamped down on them. Joe Biden let them back in by loosening those restrictions. And you're seeing in real time here in these last 8 years, Trump presidency puts America first, puts communist China last. And the Joe Biden presidency says, well, we're going to put communist China first
and America
put the
last.
American interest last. So
that's right.
It is so essentially a President Trump back in the White House.
Yeah, but the last guy, I don't know, policy aside, the last guy was like, oh, Xi Jinping, smart guy, great guy, friend of mine, good friend of mine. I mean, that's fine. That's how you do diplomacy. Like, whatever. Like, of course, you're going to say that when you meet with a leader of a foreign country, right? Like, it's fine. But like, it's weird the way these people want to retcon that shit. When it came to doing diplomacy, for the most part, Trump was kind of nice to everybody. And then he pretended he wasn't, but he was running around kissing everybody's ass in the world because he wanted to build a fucking hotel in their country. I mean, let's be real here. And so, like, just pretending that it's something that it wasn't is just real stupid. Like, just tell it like it was. Like, it's fine. Nobody put communist China first and America last, or America first and China last. It's like there are all kinds of other interests, all kinds of other things that people are worried about other than just the United States and China. Up next, we got North Carolina governor nominee Mark Robinson seemingly endorses political violence at an event at a church.
It was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it.
All right.
When the Japanese
killed what?
Bombed Pearl Harbor, what do? We flew to Japan. And we killed the Japanese army and Navy.
Oh my God. And fucking what? Oh no. Oh, that bomb, those two bombs. Okay, the first one, maybe. The second one, no.
Navy. We didn't even quibble about it. I didn't start this fight. You did. You wanted to be left alone. You should have left me alone.
Wait, what?
We didn't argue and capitulate and talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't fight the Nazis that hard. No, they're bad. Kill them.
Well, shit. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take the small victory where we can get it there.
Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad.
You're not going to find many liberals that thought it was bad to kill the Nazis.
Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not.
I mean, it might be a matter of vengeance. Yeah, if you're like, some folks need killing, sounds kind of vengeful.
Matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity. We have wicked people doing wicked things, torturing and murdering and raping. It's time to call out those guys in green and go have them handle them. Or those boys in blue and have them go handle it. We need to start handling our business again because, guys, what I said at the beginning about you getting in your cars, listening to your radio, putting on what you want to put on, and saying what you want to put on, keep thinking about it. Don't you feel it slipping away? Don't you feel it slipping away? The further away we get from the concept of 1776 and why we declared our independence and how we declared our independence, the further we start sliding into making 1776 a distant memory.
It's a distant memory. It was fucking a long time ago. People, they're so, they can't just come out and say, I mean, we know what this guy's saying. He's saying when he said some people need killing, I think he's talking about us, people like us. People like me, maybe more specifically. And, I don't know. I mean, fucking try it, dude. Come on over. Up next, we got what appears to be goose versus livestock. Get him, goose. Honk. That was our palate cleanser for the week. Usually it's a little bit longer, but it's a short docket this week. Short docket. Up next, we got Living with Eric Trump. Sounds fantastic. Here's Laura Trump on Living with Eric Trump.
This morning, I actually got up and walked in the kitchen and was very surprised because my husband had unloaded the entire dishwasher. And he wanted some big pat on the back for this. And I'm like, hey, I do this every single day. Oh, I digress. What would my chore be for Eric if I could? You know what we have a problem with in our house? Our dog, Ben, our biggest dog, likes to steal socks. And I don't know what the story is, but Eric somehow leaves his socks in a place in his hamper where Ben can get them. I have Eric's socks all over our house. They're everywhere. And it's so funny. The kids even joke about it. They're like, there goes Ben with dad's socks again. So I would ask, number one, that we figure out a way to keep the socks away from Ben. It would probably require like closing a closet door. But aside from that, if Eric Trump wanted to be in charge every day of unloading the dishwasher, and I would say loading it too, let's give him 2. That would be great. The amount of time that would save me, it would be significant because I wake up about 15 minutes earlier every day. Again, moms out there know this. Just because I know, I'm like, all right, I got to unload the dishwasher. I got to get these plates ready. I got to get the breakfast going. We know. You guys understand this.
Get the fuck out of here. You have staff.
That even in my house, it is probably the same thing as in your house.
Get the fuck out of here. They have staff. There's no way they don't have staff. But also, it's kind of cute that the dog just steals people's socks. My parents have a cat that likes to walk around with socks. Just one sock, obviously, but I don't know what it is with animals. Sometimes they do like socks. Up next, we have Eric and Laura Trump. They're talking to, I guess, Amanda Grace. I forget who she is, but Donald Trump was elected due to divine intervention. I don't know why he wasn't elected the second time. Maybe God was a little annoyed with him. Who fucking knows?
I think he's created the greatest political movement in history, and I really do believe
Oh, the guy sitting with Amanda Grace looks like he's just gonna fucking die right there, doesn't he?
that something is looking down and guiding him every single day, because there's no way in the world he could have been where he is today without the intervention of God. And
Amen.
I feel it. I know it. Hillary Clinton raised $1.5 billion. My father, who knew nothing about politics, in 2016 raised $300 million. And somehow
he's a businessman.
And he won the White House against impossible odds. And I really do believe that there's divine intervention there. I think.
Well, he won because of the Electoral College
fighting him, and
well, all right, that was dumb. A lot happened this week, but honestly, it was kind of a slow news week as far as finding clips. Because usually, what happens is if I don't find a lot of clips, I'm like, oh, I must not have been paying attention that closely this week. And then I go in the Discord, and there's a ton of clips. This week, I went in, and there was a good number of clips. It sure helped me make sure the show wasn't like 15 minutes long, but it was a little bit thin too. I don't know what's going on out there, because maybe everybody was just celebrating the news about Steve Bannon. Who knows? So I'm not a big fan of the Lincoln Project. Those ghouls were like instrumental in creating the monster that is the current Republican Party, and now they're all to the monster they created. How dare you behave like a monster? But sometimes they put out a good ad, and here's one of those cases.
Every year, a well-known cable channel brings you a full week devoted to sharks. True tales of the killers of the sea. The ultimate predators hidden in the depths of our oceans. Until now. This year, we present Electric Boat Battery Week.
What would happen if the boat sank from its weight and you're in the boat and you have this tremendously powerful battery and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted, or do I jump over by the shark?
You thought sharks were enough. Well, now there's a new danger. Batteries. For millennia, mankind feared the deadliest predators in the sea. Now, the predator is of our own making.
I'm not a big fan of sharks either.
I mean, I guess you don't have to like the individual ghouls over at the Lincoln Project to understand that they hired some good video editors and some good production people, I suppose. Hopefully they're being paid well, but I bet they're not. I bet they're not. Here's a former Sopranos actress, Drea De Matteo, said she was canceled by Hollywood because she was anti-vaccine, and that half of Hollywood's gonna vote for Trump. So who knows? We'll see if she's right. I've never heard of her before. I wasn't, unlike everyone else on the planet, I never really got into The Sopranos. But let's hear her harrowing tale of being canceled.
Half of Hollywood is voting for Trump. I have people writing me, PR agents, and I was dropped for not getting vaccinated in Hollywood completely by my agent, whatever. But a lot of people are finding my emails and coming at me saying, wow, I can't believe you're speaking out. Keep it up. And I have people whispering in my ear in like these super liberal parties, and they come and whisper in my ear like, thank you, just keep doing it, please keep doing it.
Was there a fucking hipster coffee shop that you went to a liberal party at? All these people who don't have names keep coming up to me. They're liberals though. They don't agree with my politics, but they're sure glad I'm speaking out. They keep trying to this boat doesn't float. You could tell us this till the fucking end of time, and it's always bullshit. So up next, also ran, I suppose, for president is RFK Jr. Apparently, he's got some thoughts on mental health care for black folks. Probably lines up pretty closely with the cult of Scientology.
My Peace Corps program is going to be wellness farms, rehabilitation facilities that I'm going to start in
concentration camps,
rural areas all over the country, where any American can go for free. Any of them who is dependent on drugs, either legal drugs or illegal drugs, psychiatric drugs, which every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall.
No, not every black kid.
SSRIs, benzos.
Oh, you're like your friend old Jordy Pete.
Which are known to induce violence.
Yeah, that's that fucking shit that he's saying right there is straight fucking from CCHR, a Scientology front group. Just fucking chapter and verse from the cult of Scientology.
And those kids are going to have a chance to go somewhere and get reparented, to live in a community where they'll be
reparented now.
Cell phones, no screens. You'll actually have to talk to people.
I think like prison, juvenile detention.
Liberal ideology today is that we have to stop racism by censoring people, by canceling people, by teaching.
What is going on with the lighting? I mean, people talk shit about the lighting here, but what's going on with the lighting here?
To be racist, etc. To me, that's a dead end. Racism is just part of, of tribalism.
America.
But not just America. It's the 20,000 generations that humanity spent wandering the African savannah in little tribal groups, warring with anybody who didn't look like them. Right?
But that wasn't racism.
And
racism
it's hardwired. It's kind of hardwired.
But white is like a specific customization of the American complex.
Oh, fucking get him. Hell yeah. Good job, interviewer. I don't know much about the interviewer, but he's explaining. It sucks he's having to explain to this guy what like whiteness is that it's a construction. Yeah. Very, very, very good response by the interviewer.
Yeah, but it's ultimately a much older impulse in America. It's everywhere, and it's tribalism. And
it was more, I would say, classism in different eras.
Well,
right?
yeah, okay.
Because even when you
go, shout out to the interviewer. Who is this guy?
This is where the Moors thrive, and they were teaching Europeans. There were so-called Africans and Europeans getting along in of different colors, right? And then noble classes and things of that nature. But when we look at, like I heard Jordan Peterson talk about the so-called myth of white supremacy or white privilege, which to me is a fallacy and it's on its face because the word white is a privilege itself.
Yo, who is this guy?
Right, because white is a construct that unifies a certain people. Because if you
yeah, who is this guy? This guy's name? High level conversation with.
Back to Bacon Rebellion, then it speaks on how you keep people divided. Right. And so for me, it's a systematic creation by those who are wealthy, the government, the 1%, however you want to look at it, right, to create a privilege that creates a commonality so that they don't see that, hey, you in the poor class, they up there. Instead, we're divided by all of these different titles so that the people never look at it. It's the people and then it's the system. Right. So the word white.
He was doing okay until this part.
Itself is a privilege.
This is some like New World Order kind of shit right here that I don't like. But still the pushback here is pretty good, where he's like trying to, because RFK Jr. is trying to basically say racism is not real or doesn't have any impact. And the guy's like, well,
throwing construct rules because it didn't exist before a certain time.
Yeah, it's an argument that we probably aren't going to resolve here, and that I'm
not trying to resolve it, just in fact.
Oh, look at him. He's like, I'm not trying to resolve this with you. I just got the fucking information for you.
Whether it's America or not.
Hella nonchalant.
What do we do? Deal with it. I was raised in the 1960s. My uncle was the first Irish Catholic president of the United States. There was tremendous anti-Catholic prejudice then. The Ku Klux Klan had a resurgence during his election. It was a huge issue. Should a Catholic ever be allowed to serve as presidency? I was called names when I was a kid, a mackerel snatcher, a Mick, all of these, derogatory names. When people called me that, I never internalized it.
Yeah, because you got to be white. That's what he's trying to explain. The interviewer's trying to explain this to you, that you didn't have to internalize it because you were at the top of the layer cake. You were described as white, so you didn't have to internalize it because it wasn't negatively impacting the life of you and your loved ones. It was just some nasty shit some kid said to you at school, but there's no additional societal pressure that came with it.
I would think that guy's got a problem. That guy's weird because he's saying that to me. I never thought, oh, I'm inferior. And the reason.
To be fair, he was like fucking Kennedy too.
For that was because I had confidence, because I had an education. I had
a trust fund.
Connections in my family.
You certainly did. You were a Kennedy. Oh, you certainly had family connections. That is true.
Strong family, a strong faith, and a belief in my country, a belief in my future. I was confident about my future. So prejudice had no impact on me.
He's too stupid to understand that he's explaining what the fucking difference is without knowing that that's what he's explaining. He's like, oh, well, if people called me, I guess his family's Irish Catholic, if I'm not mistaken. So there was like a anti-Irish slur that he said in there. Yeah, it didn't really carry much weight because your family was rich, dude. Your fucking uncle or dad or somebody was Joe Kennedy. So you didn't give a fuck what they said to you at school. You and your family were going up to the Hamptons this weekend.
And that is, to me, the gift that we need to give to every black kid in this country, that if they do encounter bigotry in their lives, that they're not affected by it. They don't internalize it. They have so much confidence in themselves as men, as women, that they are unaffected. And I'm going to try, instead of feeding the culture war issues, guns, abortions, trans rights, border security, and racism, I'm going to focus on the common ground, the values that we all share in common.
Idiot. Okay, so first of all, that he was talking about essentially and parents would do this for a long time, and I think parents still do this, where if their kid's a problem child, they send them off to like a camp, oftentimes like a sort of like, maybe not like as bad as back in the day when it was like scared straight camps, but it might be just like that still. I don't know, but anybody done any like looking into the troubled teen industry? It seems like he wants to institutionalize within the government the troubled teen industry, which is a really bad fucking idea. Like a really bad fucking idea. Up next, also not a church boy.
I am not a church boy. I am not running like that. I said I had a very, very rambunctious youth. I said in my announcement speech that I have so many skeletons in my closet that if they could all vote, I could run for king of the world. Mm-hmm. So, this Vanity Fair.
I don't think he was that cool.
Recycling 30-year-old stories, and I'm not, going to comment on the details of any of them, but I am who I am.
You're talking there about the nanny situation. I mean, I do have to ask her. I mean, are you denying it or not?
I'm not going to comment on it.
All right. Well, I gave you the opportunity.
Yeah. He allegedly essayed somebody who was actually babysitting him, which is a little bit weird. Not weird. I guess unusual or uncommon to hear about, but also Epstein's flight logs. Some Epstein stuff came out. Oh boy, howdy, was his name on it. Whose name would never be on Epstein stuff? One particular presidential candidate from 2016, 2021, Mr. Bernard Sanders. I don't think he would have been hanging out with the Epstein. Whether or not he knew what was going on just didn't seem like his kind of place to hang out. Like I said, we have short docket this week, so we got one last story before we go into red light. We'll stay up late tonight, though, guys. Don't worry about it. We got one Mr. Jimothy Dore went on to Joe Rogan, and I guess they're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse.
I mean, look at how they lied about the biggest story, the Kyle Rittenhouse story, right? Now, I hated that kid because the corporate media told me he was a white supremacist who didn't live in that community. He traveled across state lines with guns to shoot 3 black people at a Black Lives Matter rally, and I hated him. And then I watched the trial, and it turns out he did live in that community. He was a lifeguard in that community. He was asked to protect a car dealership by immigrants of color because the cops wouldn't. What? And he didn't travel across state lines with guns, and he didn't shoot 3 black people. He shot 3 white people, and I was like,
wait, nobody said that this victim. Wait, that's just because you're misinformed. Then
shot 2 guys.
That maybe
Wasn't
you're right.
it?
Maybe
he killed 1.
He definitely
did he shoot 3,
and then he shot the other guy
through the arm. Yeah,
and they're all 3 criminals. That's another part they leave out. They're all 3
criminals, terrible people. This is the thing about.
Wait a minute. So now that if you have a criminal record and you're at a protest, it doesn't shooting you is now okay.
Riots, right? When riots are too much like a war, like anytime there's a gathering, protests, when people get angry and they're marching. I think that ignites in us the same feelings of war, and people start doing wild, crazy shit. They went after that dude with a skateboard and tried to hit him with a skateboard. He ran away from them before he shot him.
So he shot the first guy who was the pedophile, right? And we know that guy had threatened to.
So he shot and killed 2 men, wounded another man.
So 3.
So he killed 2 and wounded 1.
So the first guy he shot had threatened to kill him all day long, and we know that he attacked him because his fingerprints are on the gun barrel.
It even says it right there in Wikipedia. Stop. Go back.
Yeah, grab the barrel of his rifle. There it is. But
it says, look at this. Race was a major theme in the U.S. media commentary, although Rittenhouse and those he shot were white.
White.
Isn't that wild?
Yes.
Most people didn't know, including people that met Kyle Rittenhouse. Like David Lucas, the stand-up comedian, he knows Kyle Rittenhouse. And he brought Kyle Rittenhouse to the mothership. And guys who were there, who met him, the guys you shot were white?
Yeah.
Like that's because people don't. So some people didn't read anything.
You have to tell them. Not only were they white, like these guys are like career criminals. One guy was a pedophile.
The one guy pulled a gun on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that I didn't know.
Fucked that kid, and he won. And he got exonerated.
So I don't know if one of the people there had a sex crime on the record. I think that is true. I don't know though. Like they almost act as if the shooter knew this about them, which he didn't. I don't know. Show up to protest unarmed. I don't know. I feel like I'm also just real skeptical on I'm real skeptical on he went there to defend a car dealership thing. I'm just not sure. Like, why was he there defending a car dealership? It doesn't seem. I don't know. It's such a long time ago. It seems like there was nobody to root for in the whole situation, I suppose. But it's such a long time ago. I don't know why fucking Jimmy Dore went there to like relitigate this again. I don't know it's over. It's over. The whole thing's over. It's been fucking 4 years. Are we really relitigating this still? The young man is, for a while, looked like he was like a rising star in conservative media, and then it seemed like he went away. I wonder if people didn't like him, or maybe if his maybe the 16th minute happened and he was gone. But for whatever reason, we don't see him that much anymore. Whatever. He was very young when this happened. I hope nothing like this is ever a part of this young man's life again, because it was just tragic all the way around. And I don't know. I hope the cars were okay. That's horrible. So I guess that's the show. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stick around for red light, but I'm not used to it being like 48 minutes after the show starts and we're already going into red light, but that's the way it is. It's been maybe a bit of a slow news week. That's fine. We have plenty of stuff to watch. People listening to the podcast, you can get the full recording of this, including red light, at eplex.store, at patreon.com/echoplex. $5 a month. You get all of our podcast recording sessions sent to your email the very next day. And as like I don't say it often enough, you want the rest of this one and you don't want to pay me, just fucking email me. I'm not legitimately going to paywall an MP4 file for some $5. This is Boomers by Periscope, and we'll be back with red light.